Yes, boss. See the topic, man. Try your best to get a hold of your emotions before they get a hold of you. If you never heard of that before, I'm happy to run this one, man. So here's the deal. In life, if you've never heard of this before, a person that is deep in their emotions is like an unstable type person due to their emotions. You feel me? But I'm pretty sure you heard of this saying before. A man in his feelings is a dangerous man. That's true. So I'm explaining something to you, right? When you can't get a hold of your emotions, it's like saying you can't control the way how you feel. So, example, right? Let's say you're in a relationship with somebody, right? And you found out like your spouse could be cheating on you or messing with somebody else, right? If you don't know how to gain a hold of your emotions, you could be the type of person where you could probably crash out. You could bring that baggage that you got going on from household, you could bring it to your job. It's a lot of things you got to understand, but a person that's deep in their emotions, if they don't know how to control themselves, that's a person who can either crash out, go off of the deep end. But you got to understand this, right? Emotions is just, it's a part of being a human. You feel me? What they said, emotions is just energy in motion. So you got to learn how to get a hold of that so it doesn't derail you or take you off the deep end. You feel me? Because one thing you got to understand is in life is this, right? There are some people, both man and woman, some of them, they just don't know how to handle their emotions. And there are some people who keep their emotions bottled up on the inside. That then leads to an outburst. You get what I'm saying? So I'll give you an example into that, right? Let's say you're a person where, let's say you don't like a certain type of people. You feel me? I've seen this shit before. This is very true, right? Let's say you don't like let's say you may not like it don't matter. You pick your favorite ethnical background. It could be Spanish, Jamaican, Haitian, whatever, right? If you're a person who doesn't know how to handle how you feel for certain people, you can ride off of those emotions and make an outburst that it could probably cost you down the line. So example, let's say you're the type of person where, this is super easy. I'm going to tie it all into each other, right? Let's say there are some people who will make certain jokes and you don't like their jokes, or you just feel like they're corny or you're whack or shut up or whatever the case may be, right? There are certain people where if they hear you say certain jokes, they will just use that as the time to just express how they feel about you, because either they don't like you as a person, they don't like your jokes, they're riding off of emotions. This may not be the best example, but it's a small stint, right? Because you chose to ride off your emotions, you could say something out of pocket that could therefore later cost you on down the line. So example, let's say somebody at your job, like a boss, said something. You don't like your boss, right? This is common. A lot of people don't like their boss. And because you don't like your boss, he said something you don't like, you took it as upon yourself to take a jab at your boss, or shut up, or, oh, I don't want to hear that foolishness, or, you get what I'm saying? Whatever disrespect you choose, because you're riding off your emotions. Let's say your boss is a person who's emotionally unstable. He could pick that up and be like, you trying me? I'm gonna throw you away for you. I'm gonna cost you your job. Or let's say you have a boss who's completely emotionally unstable. And because he's in his feelings all the time, you have to walk on eggshells. These are little things that come along with dealing with people that are in their emotions and in their feelings. A person who's in their emotions, especially a man, is a dangerous person. Give you a quick example into this. I had a boss at my last job, right? The dude was a real deal narcissist. If you do not do what this man says, if you do not conform to this man, if you do not give a vibe like you're willing to bow down and kiss his ass, he's going to have problems with you to the point where he wants to bully you out of your job. Because why? He was a man deep in what? His feelings. So it doesn't matter whatever it is that you said or did. If you put him in his feelings, he's going to ride off of emotions to get you in trouble. And I've seen him do it with a coworker before. Got a guy fired. Got a guy put on a pit plan. Got a guy to do certain things that he didn't want to do. Force people to quit because he's deep in his feelings. One thing I could tell you is this. If you have a person like this that you're around, or a boss or whatever the case may be, and you don't know how to deal with people like that, it's best you probably just try to avoid them as best as possible, or try to pick up and move elsewhere, Or you could play the game of being dumb. Stroking somebody's ego, make them feel like you on their side, but you're just buying time till you can get the hell up out of there. You get what I'm saying? There's different ways you could play with somebody who's, not saying play with them, but try and bypass the situation till you get to where it is that you want to go. You feel me? But ultimately, people in their emotions are very reckless and can be very unstable. And here's another thing about that, right? If people know you to be as a person who's in your feelings, or you're reckless, or you're careless, that means that you're a person that you're literally a wild card. Do you know what it means to be a wild card? I'll tell you. When you're a wild card, people don't know what version they're going to get of you today. You're very much what they call it, unpredictable. You could be stable now and in your feelings the next 5 minutes. Then you're back to being stable. Then you're back to being in your feelings. It's like a roller coaster of emotions. People don't know what they're going to get with you. You feel me? So that alone is going to make people uncertain about you. That's probably going to drive people away from you. And as well as that, it's going to keep you in a space where a lot of people either aren't going to want to either grow with you, or they limit you with certain things. Example into that. Let's say you have a person that you really rock with, but you know they're in their feelings. You refrain from telling them certain things because why? They're going to get in their feelings if you say that. You feel me? So you got to understand something. Being in your feelings, I'm not saying to be emotionally aware is bad. That's not the ticket. If you have emotional awareness, you winning in life. But if you're a person who's constantly drowning in your emotions, fighting like on a roller coaster to get a control of your emotions, then that's when it's going to be a hard time for you. And as well as that, if you're a person who cannot control your emotions, that can lead you to do other things that you probably never even considered before, i.e. Drug abuse, substance abuse, in whatever form of a way. But what I'm saying is if you're a person who you don't know how to get a hold of your emotions, it's going to cost you a rough time in life. Give you another example into this. There's a lot of boys who are raised by who? Their mother. And if they cannot control their emotions, guess what? They're going to ride off of it. Just like example, there's a lot of women who what? Cannot control their emotions. So guess what? They do what? They lash out. They spaz. It's a lot of people who do that. That's a form of, I wouldn't say an immaturity, but there's something missing as to why that person lashes out. You get what I'm saying? Some people probably never had the full outlet that they needed, or somebody to listen, or a father figure, or somebody. You get what I'm saying? There's certain people who picked up certain habits off of hanging around certain people that they probably should have never been around that much in a day. You feel me? Like little boys hanging around their mom all day long. That shit should not be happening, dog. I'm not saying you can't hang around your mom, but pick up what I'm trying to put down. A little boy growing up around a woman 24/7, that's going to harm him when he gets older, because you're going to pick up a lot of women traits, a lot of that feelings, a lot of that emotional stuff, unless the woman that you're hanging around have a lot of man traits in them. You get what I'm saying? So digging deeper into that now, right? People who are emotional, this is very true, they do not really make the best decisions when they're in their feelings. Because you got to understand something. When people are in their feelings, it's like they put their heart above their head. They don't think with logics. I'm going to think off of emotions. You feel me? And if you think off of emotions and you ride off of emotions, you're going to drown in life. That's going to cost you a lot of L's in life. You feel me? Being logical, being sound in your mind, being sound in judgment, that's when you're going to catch a lot of W's in life. Because why? You're thinking with logics. Imagine if people out here thought with their emotions like, oh, this person over here, like, matter of fact, I'll give you an example, right? Look at basketball. This is so easy, right? Look at football, basketball, whatever. All of those are sports. These are what? Businesses. How many times have you ever heard of a player saying, oh, they cut me, or they traded me? They got in their what? Their feelings. They got emotional over it. And I understand we're humans. We can get attached to certain things. But people sometimes forget that it's what? It's a business. So sometimes if you get caught up in your feelings, get caught up in your emotions, you can miss out on the logics behind certain things. Now, spin that in another aspect. Imagine if some of these team owners got in their feelings when certain players decided to depart, and they felt like, you know what, they left us, or they betrayed us. If you was in your feelings, that wouldn't cause you to win a championship. Give you an example into that. Look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Who did LeBron leave Cleveland for? Miami. I'm going to Miami. I'm going to partner with Wade. I'm going to partner with Bosh. We're going to win not 1 ring, not 2 rings, not 3 rings, not 4. That put Cleveland in their what? In their feelings. This nigga left y'all and went to go to Miami to help his homie go get another ring and another one and another one. All the man asked y'all was for. Get him some reliable pieces, bruh. Get him some people that can help him. That can help him get a ring and bring a ring back to Cleveland. Who helped him bring a ring back to Cleveland? Kyrie Irving. You got to understand something. Sometimes being in your emotions, I'm not going to say it's all the way bad sometimes, but sometimes when you put people in their feelings, they can sometimes get a chance to see from another aspect what they may have done to you or the things that they were doing that they probably missed out on. Like, yo, you're so gung-ho on business or being logical, you don't even realize how you made other people feel. It's a tale of two halves. I'm not telling you to be in your emotions forever, but what I'm telling you is have some form of emotional intelligence, some form of an awareness to understand the situation. Read a room. Understand if you're overplaying your part. Understand if you're being played. Understand if you're being appreciated. But you have to understand, being too emotional in life, people aren't going to really want to have no dealings with you like that. You feel me? So that's why I stated what I stated. Be a person in life that you're logical and you're sound in your mind. You want to be a person that you make the best decisions possible, and that's by staying logical, putting your best foot forward, so you don't end up in a predicament where you have to be emotional. Once again, anything can happen in this life. A girl could cheat on you. A spouse could cheat on you. The business that you're locked in with, they could say, you know what, this isn't going to work anymore. That can cause you to be in your feelings. Sometimes it depends on what you do in that moment that determines if that person made a right decision. Example, let's say a girl said, yo, I don't want you. You could choose to be in your feelings, or you could be like, yo, I appreciate you. I understand that. Bum, and walk off. Sometimes people chalked it up in their mind. You're going to be a person who's going to be a sore loser, or you're just going to bitch and whimper and cry about it. That's when, if you do things in an adult way or you do it in a logical way, like, oh, this person, they handled that firing pretty well, or this dude, he handled me cheating on him pretty well, or this person over here, they handled the betrayal really well. That make people stop and think, yo, I think I might have made a wrong decision. That's where you take whatever it is that they gave to you, whether it's lemons or lemon peels, and you turn around and make that shit lemonade. That's what make people start to recant in their mind. I think I made a wrong decision. You feel me? You got to understand in life, being emotional, too emotional, will cause you to drown in life. It will cause you to lose. It will cause you to miss out. But being logical, standing firm in your emotions, standing firm in how people might have made you feel, and showing them, yo, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I will be able to get to where I need to be. That makes people think, yo, I might have made a bad mistake, or this person handled this very respectfully, or they handle it well. Sometimes some people put it in their mind that you're too emotional. You wouldn't handle the criticism, or you wouldn't handle being judged, or you wouldn't handle being let down, or you wouldn't handle being thrown away. That's just how the game goes sometimes. You feel me? But with that being said, remember this. Words can help you. They can hurt you. But here on my channel, I use them to uplift you, because everybody's a champion. Nobody's a loser, man. Just remember this. In life, being too emotional is going to cost you a lot of L's. When you're logical and you're sound in your mind, you're going to get a lot of W's like that. The more W's that you collect and you stay out of your feelings, it's going to teach you how to stay out of that and look towards the more logical side rather than the emotional side. Because sometimes staying in your emotions, you'll just stay there, bro, until you decide to get out of your emotions. That's why it's best to think from a logical aspect so you can be free and move forward in life. You get what I'm saying? 444 the world, man. Peace.